The first Merseyside Derby of the 2020-21 Premier League campaign was all that it promised to be. Everton headed into the encounter at Goodison Park as one of the in-form sides in the league, while Liverpool wanted to make amends following a 7-2 humiliation at the hands of Aston Villa before the international break. While the likes of Dominic Calvert-Lewin and summer signings, James Rodriguez and Alain in great form, Jurgen Klopp's task was made all the more tough given that they haven't defended particularly well since the start of the current campaign. Therefore, the game against Carlo Ancelotti's men was always going to be a real test for a team that hasn't really started the new season in the swashbuckling manner that has become associated with them in the last 24 months. As it turned out to be, it was a miserable day in the office for Liverpool. The game, a really hotly contested 90-minute drama, ended in a 2-2 draw and could have gone either way. In the 11th minute of the game, Everton number 1 Jordan Pickford, who's been shaky to say the least since the beginning of the campaign, thought that it was good to close down Virgil van Dijk with his legs flailing. The Englishman completely missed the ball and his left foot barged into the Dutchman's standing leg. Van Dijk fell on the floor, grimacing in pain. Liverpool players did expect Pickford to be given his marching orders, but the Everton number 1 got really lucky since the foul occurred after Van Dijk was found to have strayed into an offside position. The Dutchman was forced off the pitch, and now Liverpool have suffered their biggest blow of the season so far. The Reds will be without their talismanic leader at the back for what appears to be the entire campaign. This is a sickening blow for the Reds and now seriously threatens their hopes of dominating England and Europe again. In every team, especially ones that are chasing the dream, you have players you need while some you want. But there are a few rare players that you can't be without, and Van Dijk falls under this category. Liverpool are bound to be hit hard by his absence. Klopp is already without the services of first-choice shot-stopper Alisson Becker. The Brazilian is likely to make a return soon, but his arrival doesn't solve the problem. Liverpool have lost their best defender and one of the best defenders in the world. Liverpool's players, coaching staff and fans alike have been so used to having him around that it seems strange that his name won't be on the team sheet for a very long time. Van Dijk started 93 Premier League matches for the Reds and even played every minute of the last 74 prior to his unfortunate injury. The last time Van Dijk missed a crucial game was back in the Champions League last 16 first leg game against Bayern Munich in February 2019. Liverpool were able to keep a clean sheet on that night, but the next few months are going to be very challenging for the reigning English champs. There have been several cases of injuries to best players severely impacting teams. Last season, Man City suffered a major blow when Aymeric Laporte got injured. Without the Frenchman, Pep Guardiola's defence became very susceptible. For Liverpool, they're definitely going to suffer, and it remains to be seen for how long they will suffer. Already, the club's defence wasn't the best. They've been conceding goals quite a lot. Thanks to the Villa Park debacle, Liverpool have already conceded 13 goals in 5 games, and now without their leader at the back, do they have the players who can step up? The Reds are definitely going to miss Van Dijk's range of passing, his calmness, his strength and anticipation. Hey, make sure to subscribe to our channel because we're actually working on a few really cool topics, and I for one would hate for you to miss out on those. Liverpool play a high defensive line, but only because they have the aggression and pace of Van Dijk to go with it. Without the Dutchman, would it be wise to not revise the tactics? Van Dijk's aerial ability is great on both sides of the pitch, so it wasn't surprising to see Everton score 2 goals from set pieces once the Dutchman left the pitch. Without him, teams in England and in Europe would be braver to try and exploit the team's weaknesses. Currently, the recognised defensive partnership Liverpool have is of Joe Gomez and Joel Matip. The two have never started a game together for the Reds. More than that, the duo has fitness issues as well. According to the Liverpool Echo, Matip is also an injury worry. He spent the most part of the previous campaign injured and was restricted to only 9 Premier League outings. These two men really need to step up and make sure that Van Dijk's absence doesn't ruin the game's first title defence in over 3 decades. Alisson is reportedly set to return after recovering from a shoulder problem ahead of schedule. The Brazilian's return is definitely going to make things easier. Fabinho was deployed as a centre-back against Chelsea last month, and the former AS Monaco man did a really good job in the role. Realistically speaking, Fabinho is a great option to deputise for Van Dijk. Moreover, Jordan Henderson also has some experience of playing as a centre-back. Gini Wijnaldum can play at the heart of defence too. However, these options represent emergency situations and don't always guarantee the desired outcome. Using an emergency option can have a domino effect too. When Laporte was on the sidelines last season, Guardiola was forced to move Fernandinho into the back, and as a consequence they suffered. Things might have been different had the Frenchman been available. Beyond the current emergency options, Liverpool have young and untested options to choose from. 19-year-old Rhys Williams played in the Carabao Cup and impressed. Billy Koumetio is 17 and has a lot of potential. Similarly, Sepp van den Berg has a lot of top-flight experience after representing Zwolle in the Dutch Eredivisie. However, the young Dutchman is yet to be given enough opportunities to impress. Nat Phillips was expected to leave for a championship side after spending last season on loan at VfB Stuttgart in the German second division. He did make a brief return in January and played in an FA Cup win over Everton and has good defensive qualities. However, the 23-year-old hasn't played a professional game in England, so throwing him in the deep end might turn out to be a grave mistake. Following such a bad piece of news, it's always easier to talk about worst-case scenarios. Many people would say that the Reds have won far more games than they've lost in the last 2 years, but then again, a major portion of those games was won with Van Dijk leading from the backline. The Merseyside Derby was quite an exciting affair. There were tackles flying left, right and centre. It was the sort of fiery atmosphere that we needed to see, so it was truly unfortunate to watch Van Dijk suffer the most out of all the players who stepped on the pitch. This injury really puts a spanner in the works for Klopp and company. The German tactician already had defensive issues to take care of. Now, he has to get used to life without the talismanic Dutchman. But then again, every team does experience such drama. The bigger teams are, in fact, impacted more by it, since managers usually create their philosophy based on a select group of players. The replacements for Van Dijk don't command a lot of confidence either, but then again, it is what it is. Liverpool have worked hard in the last few years to put themselves on the map, so they need to find a quick solution as well. The January transfer window is on the horizon, so Klopp's main priority would be to make do with the defensive options he has at his disposal. This might even impact their results on the pitch, but as long as their attacking trident keeps delivering, the Reds will always have a chance of winning games regularly, rather than rolling up the moment things go south. Klopp should take heart from the fact that Mohamed Salah is still in great form and is scoring goals at the same rate he was last season. Liverpool's success has been built on far more than a couple of players. Injuries and suspensions are a part of the game. The atmosphere at Liverpool has been vibrant and positive throughout the last 2 years, so whoever replaces Van Dijk will have the confidence of his coach and teammates to come through. The club won't be looking for any excuses, and judging by the way Klopp does things, the German tactician is not going to expect anything less from the likes of Gomez, Matip or Fabinho, or whoever plays at the heart of defence. In the coming weeks and months, it will be interesting to see how Liverpool react to this blow. They have a league title they need to defend, and the Champions League they'd love to win again. They simply can't allow negativity to fester and take over Melwood, and maybe the absence of Van Dijk might turn out to be a blessing in disguise by uniting the whole squad into doing well for their talismanic defender. And once the January transfer window opens, everyone's focus would be on which defender Liverpool will bring over to Anfield in order to fill the void left by the Dutchman's absence. Jamie Carragher duly pointed out that the Premier League title race has been blown wide open following Van Dijk's injury. While he recovers, Van Dijk's teammates are going to face the daunting task of patching up what has proven to be a leaky defence so far. Indeed, can Liverpool actually win the league without him? Every team has at least 3 to 4 players who guide them to title triumphs. If those players aren't there, the team will struggle. We can't deny Liverpool are going to struggle in the absence of Van Dijk. So I think it blows the title race wide open, I really do. I still felt at the start of this season that Liverpool certainly were the team to beat, and I think with Van Dijk being out for what looks like the whole season, now I think it's going to be all on, Jamie Carragher said. While they didn't really go for a spending spree in the summer transfer window, Liverpool will now be forced to sign a new defender, someone who's better than the current options they have, and someone who wouldn't need a lot of time to settle in his new surroundings. There are definitely a lot of good options in the market, so the January transfer window could prove to be a really interesting one for the residents of Anfield. And even if they are able to find the right player, and that Gomez and Matip or Fabinho are able to fill in, would that still be enough in a campaign that's already started at a breakneck pace?